Hey guys, Poro here, and welcome to my new series, League of Builds. This series is entirely based around new ways to play champions that are fun and maybe sometimes even viable. I'll be going over the build, how it will change your playstyle, what you're gaining and losing from going this build over normal builds, and more. As we all know, League of Legends is a game based around what the best players are doing, and therefore the game leans more towards stability and away from fun. One of the only remaining ways to have fun in this game is to run funny builds, and I have plenty of those to go around. One of the key aspects to funny builds being fun is that they are actually playable, as everyone knows it's no fun to go 0-10 and be flamed by your teammates. League of Builds is a quest to find those fun builds, but still be just good enough that you'd feel okay running it in your ranked promos if you've mastered the build. That being said, I'd like to present to you all Assassin Poppy. Poppy is usually played as a tank or juggernaut. She has slows, protection, natural tankiness, stuns, and displacements in her kit that make for a great champion to help with peeling and kiting. Many traditional Poppy builds would go tank mythics such as Jackshow or Iceborne Gauntlet, or bruiser mythics like Divine Sunderer. With these, Poppy can weave in and out of a fight to cause as much chaos as possible while still remaining fairly safe. However, these builds overlook one specific part of Poppy's kit, and that is her absolutely bonkers AD ratios. Poppy's Q alone has a 180% AD ratio, and her E has a 100% AD ratio as well. Put this on top of her stupidly easy to execute EQ combo and you have the makings of some crazy one-shots. Damage isn't all that's needed for a one-shot though, as you need a way to get onto the enemy. Luckily, Poppy comes with extra movement speed, a shield that grounds mobility, and a targeted dash. Getting on top of the targets you need to get to is a lot easier than it should be. If the enemy has no mobility, you get on top of them with speed and stay on top of them with slows and knockups. If the enemy team tries to stop your backline dive with engage, most engages are completely warded off due to her mobility shield. Even if the target has dashes, you can still usually catch up to them. Once you've caught the target, it's all over. E auto RQ auto is your fairly standard full damage combo, but that's usually overkill. A good EQ auto is usually enough to destroy your average mage or marksman. So, how does your playstyle change? Well, for starters, you need to be more greedy. You need damage to be effective, which means you need items, which means you need gold. You'll find yourself farming a hell of a lot more than a traditional Poppy would since you need to guarantee your item spikes. As long as you're ahead on items, you can one-shot. You also need to get into the frame of mind that you're an assassin, which means you'll have to play a lot less recklessly than a normal Poppy might. Your entire playstyle has to be based around your cooldowns, so it's a much slower paced game in teamfights or skirmishes in general. Dumping your damage is easy, but getting into the mindset that you're more of a hit and run champion instead of a stand around and cause chaos champ can be difficult. In fact, it's best to think of Assassin Poppy and normal Poppy as two completely different champions. You use each ability in different ways and have completely different playstyles. It's not the type of thing where you can just pick Poppy and flex your build. It's the type of thing where Assassin Poppy is a situational pick for if the enemy team's carries have no way to escape you. Now it's time to go over the items and runes. Your items are one of the following between Eclipse and Duskblade, followed by Ghostblade and Serilda's. Everything after that is pretty situational. Eclipse is good for extra survivability and can work well into targets who build some armor. Poppy is a melee champion, so she gets the full value from the item. Duskblade is for those pure one-shots. Prowlers actually isn't super great, as you'll usually be sprinting directly in a straight line at your target with the goal of shoving them forwards into a wall. Using Prowlers to get behind them is a bit awkward and will usually make it difficult to get both a wall stun and a Prowlers active. I'm sure the geometry wizards out there can figure out some crazy angles needed for Prowlers into wall stun juicer that nobody saw coming, but unless you're ready to do advanced calculus on the Rift, just stick with the easy to execute stuff. Serilda's seems odd at first because every single ability Poppy has will already slow or CC the enemy. However, Armor Pen is a broken stat on assassins. Situational items can include things like Ravenous Hydra, Edge of Night, Guardian Angel, Axiom Arc, Mercurial Scimitar, and basically just whatever works for whatever you're going up against. An item I would avoid going is Deadman's Plate. It might seem fun to run at them even faster, but Deadman's is already not gold efficient, and it deals very underwhelming damage. Going Deadman's might single-handedly make you useless with the assassin build. I usually like to go Electrocute for my keystone, but Predator can be an interesting pickup. I'd advise against Dark Harvest as you won't be getting more than 20 souls in the majority of your games, meaning Electrocute will just do more damage. As a general tip, always go Electrocute over Dark Harvest if you have an easy way to get the 3-hit combo. Dark Harvest has a worse adaptive force ratio and lower base damage, meaning it gets outscaled by Electrocute traditionally, and you need something like 25 to 34 souls to break even. That's about everything I have to offer for this pick. Play with your cooldowns, don't take too many big risks, farm more, and one-shot the backline. Now for the big question, do I think this build is better than normal Poppy builds? The answer is no. Traditional Poppy has a lot going for her, and she's picked best in situations where her W is the deciding factor. There are plenty of AD junglers who can assassinate better than Poppy can, such as Rek'Sai or Lee Sin. However, 80 Poppy is really fun, and it actually can pop off in games if the comps are right. I'd say Assassin Poppy is about 80% as good as normal Poppy, but at least twice as fun. If you enjoyed the series, let me know in the comments so I can continue making these. I have a Twitch channel that I stream on sometimes, and a Discord server where I'm more than happy to talk about whatever on. If you want to support me even more, I opened up a Ko-fi page, and you can find that in the About Me section of my channel. Bye.